Okay, well, I decided to make a video about really what was a really important topic for me many years ago, which was real estate in Japan, and particularly first, let me just talk about renting an apartment first, and then I'll get into other types of real estate. First, to rent an apartment in Japan, as you may know, is quite complicated, especially if you're from another country. It's You need lots of you need guarantors. You need just like actually, I compare it to. I think it's very similar to renting an apartment in New York, whereas other cities in the United States are quite laid back. Um, at least they used to be landlords quite laid back about renting out. New York was the first place I lived where it was quite complicated, and they were asking for different types of deposits and doing credit checks and things like that. So Japan is similar to that. If you live in a place like that, it's similar. Um, but it's a bit more complicated because um, most realtors require that you have a guarantor to guarantee your apartment. In other words, that if you have a problem paying the rent or something like that, they will be able to. You have someone who can uh, help you out, or they could go to legally for the rent money. So what ends up happening if you work uh, for a Japanese company, your Japanese company or organization will usually sponsor you. If you're a full timer, they'll sponsor your apartment. If you're not living in their housing, they'll sponsor your apartment. So you never have any problem if you have a job like that. What happened with me was when I became a part timer, like a dedicated part timer, which basically means in Japan that you are self employed. I couldn't rent an apartment because I didn't have anyone who would guarantee me, and no one private employers or anyone that I knew that would do that. So it was impossible for me to rent. And I was in a situation where I was married with two young children, and I had a job, but I had lots of jobs, but I didn't have the one full time job that would sponsor me like that, take that responsibility. So no guarantor. So I had learned about something called, um, you could say, they used to call it for a simple term, the court websites or the court real estate system, where the Japanese government and the court system had a database of, uh, you could say, not repossessed, but some of them were homes and apartments that were just in their care. They got them in some way or another. Maybe someone passed away and there was no heir, or taxes hadn't been paid in a long time, or maybe there was some other financial situation where um, the property ended up in the courts. So I had heard about that from Japanese people I knew. So I started looking it up on the internet in my spare time to see what it was. And you know, during that was we're talking now about has to be 18 years ago or so. So during that time, um, my my Japanese ability was not as good as it is now. I couldn't read as well as I can now, but during that time, I was able to navigate it somehow or another. You know, it's knowledge, right? So it doesn't really make a difference what language it's in. Um, these things exist. The same processes exist in across countries and across cultures. So I basically understand what it was, but it's just a question of getting through the language. So I'm looking at it, and I'm starting to see this that there's a possibility to maybe buy something really cheap I had to do something because I was gonna have to leave my apartment that I was in that was sponsored because I was going on my own, and this is connected to the visa issue, and that's a different topic. The visa thing, how I was able to do it, being at that time of being a foreigner. So that's a different topic. I'll talk about that later. But this one, I'm just going to talk about in this video, just talking about real estate itself. All right, so I found a site, and it was introduced to me, and I'll show it to you. And this is the site, and you can see it's not hard to find. You can, I mean, you can look at you can just write down this URL, and you can look at it for yourself. It says BIT, which stands for Broadcast Information of Tri-Set System. Who knows what that really means? If you ever try to say that English title to anyone, they'll never know what you're talking about. It's just something that they put up there. I mean, that's how it works. That's how it works here. What this is, though, is it says in Japanese, Fudo San Kei by Butsuken Wholesale Site, right? Which just means real estate auction information site. That's what it is. Auction information, real estate auction information. And you can see a map of Japan. And this is all the Japanese islands from Hokkaido up here. It's Honshu, Shikoku, Kyushu. And then all the regions are listed here in bold. This site has changed a lot since when I used it, it looked completely different. But the same functionality, but it just looked completely different when I first started using it. I would say it's better now, although I thought before it was a bit simpler, which made it easy too. And when you click on these, you can search. I'm not gonna go all over Japan looking at this. That would be endless. But there are two types of properties on this site. There are properties that are for auction, and that's really what the site's about. Then there's also properties that you can buy straight away, directly. So the auction is you place a bid, a blind bid, closed bid, and so you don't know what other people are bidding. And then if you win the bid, when you put your bid down, you have to put a deposit, a percentage of the total price of the property. And then if you win the bid, you will have to pay the rest of it within a few months' time or a certain period of time. I can't remember exactly. I've done the bidding thing how many times? Once. I've done the bidding once. And I won it. I won that bid, but it's a long story. But when I first did this, I actually didn't do a bidding situation. I bought properties the other way, which was a direct buy, which means it's a property that has been put up there for bidding, but no one wants it. So I bought I bought 3 properties like that. And the first one I bought was an island piece of property on an island, just sort of to see how it works. And then the second one was my old place where I was living for about 18 years, old Japanese style house. And that was the place that saved me. That's the place that I could buy, even though it was in rough condition. I bought it and had a place to live. And I didn't have to worry about renting anymore ever again. So, and I could raise my family and have a place to call home. And also, I was lucky enough to also get a nice community to join or belong to. So it was really positive for me. All right, so let's just look at some of these. Um, I mean, I guess people would want to look at Tokyo or something like that, but I don't really know a lot about Tokyo, and I'm not going to click on it because I don't really know. I've been there, of course, but I don't know a lot about it. But if that's what you're into, you can go up there, and then down here. So that's in the Kanto area here, and here, if you want to look at Osaka, um, you got the Kinki area here in Osaka, and you got properties there. In the big cities, the property is going to be quite expensive, especially when they're in the city. But you know, Tokyo and Osaka both have countryside, so there still could be some rural or cheaper places there too. But I'm going to stay where I live because I know it the best, which is the Chugoku area of West Japan, which is over here. This is all West Japan, including Osaka, but um, I live in the Chugoku area, which is here. So let's look at that. Down here, you have Okinawa, and Okinawa and their classification here is it says Kyushu in Okinawa. So there's properties there if you're interested in trying to get a beach island, small island retreat. You got that, and they do have some things down there, but it's quite expensive. But let me look here. I'm gonna go. Let me just start in Okayama. So click on Okayama, and there it is. This is where I live, Okayama, and it has these designations. It says Chiki kara sagasu, which means look by region, and then but which is what I usually do because I know the areas. Um, and there's other ways you can look by from the courts, or I'm not sure exactly what this search parameter is, but I always look by the region. Down when you see this page, right away I see this very little here, which is interesting. I mean, in the past, it used to just be tons of things. There's only one listing here, and that's for a place in Tamano City. And I'll take a look at it. Tamano City is a small city in the south part of Okayama Prefecture. And this is a field, a rice field. You can see it says field there. And they want, well, the asking price is 1,311,000 yen. And if you want to bid on this, you have to put up 270,000 deposit. So that's that. This is just agricultural land. You can click on the picture and take a closer look at it. There you go. They also have PDFs on here, so you can download the information. And if you're really interested into the property, that's a good thing to do. I used to do that. Although they also have, if you go to the office, there's an office. This is online, but there's an office. You can go into the office and you can actually photocopy the same information. That's possible too. Okay, so let me get out of this and okay, so we're here. Let's see if we can find something. Find like a house. So there's nothing available right now in Okayama as far as houses or apartments go. But let's look someplace else. How about Tottori Prefecture? Tottori Prefecture is quite popular too. And there's nothing in Tottori. Okay, oh, there are some here. There's a few. So Tottori has fewer cities and towns than Okayama. So, but I can see they have more properties available here than Okayama right now. So let's just look at Tottori City, which is where the famous beaches are. So here you go. Look at this. You have sale price is 888,000, so it's under a million. So that's what, $9,000. The price of a used car, and this 177,600 yen for deposit for the auction. Now, actually, the thing about the auctions is that you can actually bid under this and still get it. But the thing is, like, this is like, I guess you could say, a suggested price, so that they set, and always people will bid under this. And who bids? I mean, who buys these? Sometimes it's people like me who need some place to live, but a lot of times they're companies, real estate companies, because they have licenses that allow them to turn these around. Private people are not allowed to turn these over and resell them. And so these companies will often bid under that price, and they're allowed to do that. And so they can get a real bargain. But this is already incredibly cheap. And this is in Tottori City. And I'll click on the picture. And you can see this is a fabulous traditional Japanese style house. And there's more information about it. You can see it's the land is 165 square meters. And Tottori City, I don't know where this neighborhood is. I could look exactly where it is, give an idea. So, okay, no, the house is 165 square meters. The land is huge. The land is 1,266 square meters. So yeah, that was the house. Yes, this is Takuchi. But is that? Yeah, that's the. This means that the land the house is on is designated as housing land, but the house size is 165 square meters. That's pretty big. And 1,266 square meters is huge. It's huge. It's a huge piece of land. Okay, you have a garden and stuff. And yeah, they even have an access map to show you where it is. And if I'm just looking at what they say, where it is, it looks, I mean, it's in Tottori City, which is kind of wide area. So maybe let's take a look. I'll look at I'll search this on Google and see what comes up. Yeah, just look at this map, Yahoo map, see where it is. I just click on any one of these because they'll probably, that's close enough. That's one get a halfway decent idea. All right, so this is, yeah, I kind of know what this is. This is, so it's, I guess it's not that far from Tottori University. And yeah, I mean, from there, you're right. You're near the sea. I mean, you can see you're near the sea, but Um, so yeah, you just I'll share that with you. So this is where that house is. That house is right there, the number one. And you can look, you can see the train line. There's Toturi, there's a train, and then this is the Toturi University stop on the train. Um, so you're right. You're not that far. I mean, that's not that far from the train, and you're not far from. Like I know this area, you can get around here by car. You can get from A to Z so fast, all across the whole prefecture. So that's where it is. Yeah, and then going back to it, so that's an example. That's a good example of a house. People say, oh, "What's a negative thing about buying or trying to buy these?" Well, let's say for example, you don't win the bid. Well, if you don't win, your deposit money will be refunded to you. Right? Your deposit money will be refunded to you, so that's not a problem. Now, one of the things that people often say about the bidding and things like that is that, or buying from auctions or buying properties that are distressed, as they call them, in Japan, is that you don't know what's attached to them. Maybe that was the reason they're here is because of some negative thing that happened. Maybe, often they'll be in some of the properties they say will be in areas that are not so good. But I've done this 3 times. Three, yeah, 3 times, and I don't plan on doing it again because I don't need to. I don't need any more properties. But there are also things you could do here commercially. I'm not really interested in that. I just needed a place to live, or I also just wanted um, to just basically have a place to live. So that's why I did it. But some people say that there could be negative things. Once in a while you'll see that there's someone still living in the place, and you have to deal with that. When realtors buy these places, they can clean them up and uh, clean up the issues connected to the property. Um, but I never had any issues. Um, the only issue is you have to uh, go into the neighborhood, meet the people, and I never had any problems. I mean, it's it's not that big of a deal. There could be something like that. I've never experienced it though. So that's one example that was in Totally. Actually, I wanted to look at another place I like in another place I like up in Totally, other city, since we were there, and it had quite a few listings. Let's go back to Totally. And I wanted to see Yonago City, which is it's one of my favorite cities in in the Chugoku area because it just has everything. I love it. It's like compact, yet it's like kind of urban, yet it's like by the sea. It has onsen, hot springs. It's great. All right, here's one here, and this is I don't know what this is. What is this? It looks just like a piece of land. It's not. There's no. Uh, okay, it's a building. It's a building. Two-story building. I don't know what kind of building that is. It's like an office building or something. Yeah, like a business. 60,000 US dollars. Asking price. This, yeah. But you could buy it for as low. That's what it says here. You could buy it for as low as 5,112,000 yen. So you can come in at this price and potentially get it. But if it's a desirable place, bidders will hang around this price at the top. But you could play a game, see if you can, especially if you don't. It's not like a life and death situation. You can play a game with the price. Where is this? This area is you can see that blue piece of that space there. That's the Japan Sea. So this is just this is an urban area, very urban section of Yamago City, but still near the sea. This is not by Yonago Station, but it's near the train line, and this is prime. Right here you have a legal affairs office. So this is central Yonago. That's a business. All right, so you can see that. I really wanted to show something more in Yokohama, but I think that what did I click on there? I think that is good enough to get an idea. So yeah, and where do you go when you do this? You can look on the internet, but you physically do have to go in to the office, and there's a form or forms you have to just fill out, very simple, and just say tell them the property you're interested in, and what happens. Like, these are on a schedule, and you can only bid during a certain time period. So if you're bidding. And then you go in during that time period, you put down your deposit, they take your deposit. You're going to need a registered seal, which is called, inkan, or official seal, which is called jitsuin. You're going to need that. Easy to get. You get it you can sign up for that at the at City Hall or your ward office. And so I'm saying things that you say, oh, it sounds like you need to be some type of citizen or resident. No, you don't. All you have to do to do this, when I did my first one, I bought my first property, which was not bidding. It was a direct buy from the courts. I was just a visa holder, just a resident, not a permanent resident, just a resident with a legal visa. So you don't have to be a citizen or a permanent resident to buy property in Japan. It's not like the Philippines or Thailand, where you have to be a citizen to freehold land. It's not like that. So I did it. The first one I did, it must have been actually 20 years ago, the first one I bought. So, all I had was a visa, and I just got those things I needed. They told me what to do, and I went and got it, because when they process the paperwork, that you need to have a Japanese style seal. And you just make one, get one made, and then you're good to go. But you have to physically go in, physically give them the deposit money. I say physically, they give you a money transfer slip you just take to the bank, and you pay it at the bank. so you don't have to bring cash to them, but you take that money, you take it to the bank, and you have to pay it in a certain time period. That's how that works. And then you do the same thing if you win the bid or you're buying straight away, then you pay your balance the same way at the bank, a slip they'll give you. And then after you win or after you buy the property, they'll send you all the documents related to it, and that, the title and all that in your name and the records regarding it. And that's how it works. Since we're here, I always fantasize about a couple of things. But one thing I always thought, wouldn't it be nice to have a place in Okinawa? Let me go take a look what's there. Let's click on Okinawa. Quite a lot. So let's see. A lot of these are on the main island. There's some that aren't. That's Ishigaki City. It's like on a different island. Ishigaki. That's Miyako Island, Miyakoshi. That's a cool place. And here's the Yaeyama County, which is like those islands that are closest to Taiwan. So let's take a look at that, because I've always been interested in that. Wow. Now this is farmland. Huge. They want $400,000 US for it. It's a huge farmland. Looks like. Yeah. It's like you're buying. It's what is that? It's is that 1 million? 1,688,799 square meters. I can't even get my mind about how big that is. I mean, geez. That's like you're buying a town or something for $400,000. So that price is not bad for that. This is in the Yaeyama Islands. Let's find something else. About, I don't know what you're gonna do when you get that, but then we got Miyako Island. Now what is this? This is some type of building. It was commercial. It's like what is this? Can I see? You know what this is? A commercial building. Looks like a commercial. This is a commercial building. 20 million yen, $200,000 roughly. Well, let's just go ahead and look at Okinawa main island, I guess, proper. Is it Naha? This is Naha. I think so. Mostly just land. Mostly land here. All right, so you can get an idea. There's things all over. There's properties all over, and if something you might be interested in doing, and you don't have a lot of money, and you're trying to buy something, and you want to stay away from the regular realtors, and you just want to do it on your own, this is a way that you can do it. All right, so hopefully that helped you out a little bit, and thanks for watching.